What's going on, guys? So you probably saw the video years ago when we built the shop where I installed two 24,000 BTU mini split air conditioners on the wall. They have worked pretty dang well, but it still gets really hot in here. When I say really hot, you know, these, if I start them up in the early morning before the sun really comes out, I can probably keep the inside of the shop at about 81, 82 degrees on a really hot day, but the humidity is also really low, which is really nice. These drain a ton of humidity out. When the outside is 80% humidity, the inside with these things running is like 40%. The problem though is that I'm not always wanting to run these things all morning long just to keep the shop cool in case I need to come in here and do something for an hour. So we're gonna do a little bit of a modification addition. Hang tight, I'll be right back. Okay, so back here you see those white panels behind the actual mini splits and then that long board. Well, that long board was actually a shelf board I attached to a couple of like tray hinges that flip up to be able to direct the air further out this way. But those white panels were simply a 4x8 sheet of plywood that I cut in half, painted white, and put on the wall. And that is essentially what is holding the mini split interior component on. And I put 2x4s along the back side to keep it from sagging or eventually, you know, starting to change shape. Well, right here I did the same thing, except I did not use one 4x4 or a 4x8 cut in half. I used two 2x4s that I already had. And I did the same thing by reinforcing the back of them with a 2x4 piece of lumber. So each one of these has its own 2x4 piece of lumber that's kind of bracing the back to keep them from bowing over time. I have them secured up top with screws, and then I have these L brackets below because that is a power cord that goes to the RV, and I didn't want to have to relocate that. So I have these really heavy-duty stainless steel L brackets beneath them that are kind of cradling them, and then I put some long screws through to pull the boards up against it. So these are what the new mini split's going to attach to. Now the new mini split is going to be from a brand that you probably recognize from an RV modification I recently did. Okay, so the electrical contractor is just wrapping up. He's installing the whip right now, which is basically the final run of power between the outside disconnect and where the AC is going to sit. We're on the schedule to get the AC installed, but they are not going to be installing it today. That said, here is the breaker that will be supporting that new mini split, and the mini split came in, so let me show you what it is. And here is our new TOSOT 36,000 BTU mini split with heat pump air conditioner. So this is going to be the outdoor unit, that's the indoor unit, and again, this is a pretty dang powerful unit. To kind of put that in context, the two units up there are individually 24,000 BTUs each. So this one right here is 12,000 or 1 ton in terms of capacity greater than each one of those individually. So yeah, this is a pretty dang big unit, and where we're placing it over here on the side is going to be perfect because it's going to give us direct airflow whenever we're working on vehicles, whenever we're in that area filming. Basically, it's going to give us just a tremendous amount of additional airflow. What's also special about this is the fact that it has Wi-Fi built into it, so I can control it with my phone app, probably the same phone app that I use to control the TOSOT AC that we have in the front of the Brookstone. So this is going to be really nice, and the goal here ultimately is to have the most comfortable work experience we can, because even right now it's about 100 degrees outside. The inside of the shop is at 84 degrees from what I can see. Humidity is really low. These do a fantastic job draining the humidity out of the air, but it's still warm, and quite frankly you get kind of warm in here, especially if you're working on things that take longer or things that take more manual effort. And with these units in place, or this unit in place added to the two 24,000 BTU units, I think that we should be really efficient in terms of cooling the space off. What's also nice about this one is the fact that because it's going to be pointing at us, we're going to have more direct airflow on us. And with the big fan spinning in the air, it's going to blow that air down on top of us as well, which I think is going to be really nice. And it's just going to make for a more comfortable working environment. Now the cool thing is I don't necessarily need to keep these running all the time. I can still use these to bring nice cold air. I can still use these to kind of bring the interior of the shop down in temperature, and then use this to get it even cooler. Or if we're working close to this one, I'll just have this one on and have those two units off. Anyways, we are scheduled to have the air conditioning company come out and put these on. To you all, it's going to be instant, but to me, I have to wait for that to happen. Okay, so today is the day. So this is the TOSOT mini split 36,000 BTU inverter system that will be going in the shop. That's the outside, that's the inside unit. AC Tech is here, and he is going to get all of this installed, and we'll come back and give you a recap of how it performs, the features, and getting this thing connected to Wi-Fi, because that's super important. It'll be up on the wall right there versus the two mini splits I have over there. So this one's going to give me really good direct airflow whenever we're working on a vehicle in here, we're doing a project, especially at the filming desk over there. So super excited. I'll be back whenever this is done, and then I'll give you a good walkthrough of what was done. Okay, so floor is clear of equipment because they have the wall unit in place. Now it's kind of interesting because this is a 36,000 BTU unit. The interior unit is actually smaller than, well, it's about the same size as the 24,000 BTU units over there. The outside unit, on the other hand, is significantly larger, but they're out there working on it. I'm not going to interrupt them. It's in the perfect spot because if I'm working right here, it's going to get perfect amount of airflow on me, and that should keep me cool because I'm only about 5 or 6 feet away from it. That is awesome. And it's a heat pump as well, so if it's freezing in here, I can warm myself up too. Doesn't happen too often though. Okay, so we are all done. I'm going to try to stand right in the wind. Maybe you can hear it. This thing's on turbo. He's just using some metal strips or metal bands to attach the line set to the back of the shop so it's not flopping around. Oh, this thing feels good. That is absolutely awesome. This is a 3-ton unit too. It takes up such little space and it is so quiet. It's actually, you know, it seems to be just a little quieter than the other units I have up there. This TOSOT unit is pretty dang awesome. I love the fact that it has Wi-Fi built into it. That is absolutely amazing. I actually have it here on my smartphone setup already. I have the Brookstone whenever I go in there, and then I can adjust this one. I can raise or lower the temperature. I can raise it up if I want to. Little lights right there in the top corner. I can change the mode. I can have the vents move side to side or swing up and down. That is absolutely awesome. And it is a heat pump, fan, as well as a dehumidifier. This is really cool, and considering it's a 36,000 3-ton unit that just gives me extra cooling capacity. And what's nice is when I'm right here in this area, you really feel it on you. So yeah, when I'm working on the workbench over here, doing some type of presentation, showing you all stuff, I have wind that is blowing right on me, and that is just super cool, literally. Anyways, once he wraps up out there, I'll go out there and let you see what the outside unit looks like and how quiet it is, because both these units are absolutely insanely quiet, interior and the outside unit. And here is the outside unit, complete on its own little pad. Everything is ran up well, strapped to the wall. Just kicked it on just to see what this thing sounds like once it ramps up. But I imagine it is going to be insanely quiet because all of these tend to be pretty dang quiet. And here it goes. See it kicking on. These things are really awesome, especially if you're looking for the quietest possible outside solution. I mean, you're going to hear the wind blowing in the field more than you're going to hear this thing probably. There you go. This thing's ramped all the way up, and that's how loud it is. That is insane. So there we are, completely done, installed, finished, running absolutely flawless. I can feel it over here and it feels absolutely fantastic. So again, this is the TOSOT 36,000 BTU mini split heat pump air conditioning unit. This is a 230 volt unit, and this has a retail price of $2,499.99. They oftentimes offer some sales too, so you definitely want to check it out. You can pick one of these up at tosotdirect.com. I'll put a link in the description. Big shout out to them for providing this for review and evaluation and letting me have another means of cooling the shop down. This is really, really great support, and it demonstrates what they're capable of, and I love the Wi-Fi control. That is probably the best part of this, is the fact that I have full Wi-Fi control of this thing, and I can turn it on, I can turn it off remotely, I can get the shop cooling down. It's just really, really awesome to not have to actually come out here and turn this thing on. So I can come out here to a shop that's reasonably cool whenever we're ready to start shooting content. Because I throw videos out like every single day. So when you think about it, you know, being in a comfortable work environment is a huge reason why I can do that. And the more I have to sweat my butt off, the more that I'm struggling out here because of the heat, the harder it is to really get motivated to shoot good content. So this is going to help me out tremendously. Again, big shout out to the folks over at TOSOT for supporting the channel. Guys, I will throw a link in the description of this video if this is something you're interested in. Sure hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.